Howdy guys, welcome to the cave. I'm Mark, and you're watching Blue Street Customs. Hey guys, welcome back. Well, it's the next day here. Went and picked up the parts. Now it's been raining on and off. I can actually feel a few sprinkles as I'm talking to you right now. But we got two outer tie rods. Got two of these. So we'll get those changed. And they come with the grease nipples and everything. Cotter pin, castle nut. We got brake pads. And we got two new brake rotors. So first things first is I'm going to take tire back off, set up my camera, and get some wrenches to start taking the inner tie rod off. Or, sorry, outer tie rod off. So, I'll be back in a few minutes when I've got everything set up. Hey guys. Well, got the pipe wrench on there. Got this on wrench for this. Now, just to crack everything free. There you go. That's good. Now, we're going to crack this one free. And that wasn't very hard. Headphone users. And there we go. Oh, easy that is to move. That's crazy. Even up and down. Definitely wore out. Now for the new one. Now I'll put the grease nipple on in a little bit. And I will grease them later once everything is all done. Take the castle nut off. Now look, I can hardly move this by hand. That's how you can tell when they're wore out. Now I'm just going to set this where the last one was. But when they bring it in for a wheel alignment, they'll adjust everything to where it needs to be. Just like so. Castle nut on. Should be an 18 mil. Yep. Okay. Now I'll put the cotter pin in. Nice and tight there. Now I'll go back here. Tighten this one back up. And that's that. Now just give me a second. I'm going to go get a little wrench here for this grease nipple. Don't want to over tighten it. You can strip them out. So there we go. There is a tie rod changed. So next I'm going to set up the camera so that you guys can see what I'm doing here with the brake caliper and the rotor. And we'll get the this side here done. Hey guys, well, I had to go buy a C-clamp. This is one of the ways that you can compress caliper. There are special tools, but I don't have the $100 and some to buy one. There's probably other cheap ones out there, but stuff like that, they're going to break, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to bother. So I got some sandpaper here, some emery cloth. I'm going to try and clean up this hub a little bit first. Hey, this hub's not as bad as it looks. I got all the heavy scale off. Just want to make sure that your surface is flat, that's all. Now normally I would put some anti-seize on here, some copper coat, something like that, just to help make sure that things don't rust on solid. I am going to coat it with some WD-40 for now, because WD-40, as you know, repels water. The longer we can keep water off of this, the better. I haven't even used my tool yet, and it's freaking dirty as hell. Okay, so now for the caliper. So for the caliper, what you want to do is get yourself one of the old brake pads, put it on there, and set up your clamp. Now, some calipers, you got to be careful because they really do need the special tool, because you got to push and twist at the same time. You got to turn the piston. This one is not like that, so I don't have to worry. Now just gently compress the piston back in. Now what's happening is all the brake fluid that's in here that pushes the piston forward is actually going back through the line and back up to the master cylinder. Now don't force it too much. If you notice that your piston is not going in and you have quite a bit of pressure on here, release it. You may have to rebuild the caliper or buy a new caliper. Sometimes it's just a little bit of corrosion. You might be able to break past it, but in this case, everything compressed beautifully smooth, so I know everything there is fine. It looks like hell, but everything is fine. So I'm going to try and clean off this surface here and a bit of the piston surface to make sure my brakes sit flat. Okay, so that is now ready. Put that up there for now. Now I'm going to grab brake pads. Now these brake pads here, yeah, that's what I figured. These are certified, and Certified is a company that is in Cornwall, Ontario, Canada. So, made in Canada, bought in Canada. Now these here are 4 identical pads. What you're going to have to do in some cases is install your squealer bars, and these are your safety bars, so that when your brake pads start getting too low, the rotor will actually rub against this and start making that squealing sound you'll hear. So if you hear that squealing sound, it's time to change your brakes. And change them before they start getting to look like this. I'll show you the difference here in a second. Look at the difference. There's nothing here. The pad is actually starting to separate from the steel. It wore unevenly. Now this was doing a lot of damage on the rotor. If you let your brakes get that far, you're going to have to change your rotors too. No doubt about it. Now, for the caliper bracket, these clips, you're going to have to clean them up. These here, that's what holds your brakes in. Now, between the pressure of the caliper and these slides is what allows the brake pads to slide and move around, so they're not constantly pressured. So we're going to clean them up. Now, they're usually stainless, so it doesn't take much to clean them up. But I've seen them as steel, so the steel ones will rust. Now, some brake kits will actually come with new slides, so change them. Make sure you change them. When you're dealing with brakes, don't skimp out. It's your life, your family's life that's on the line. Do it properly, or get somebody that knows how to do it properly. But I'm going to go get some brake lube and some grease. I'll be right back. All right, now that everything's all cleaned up, here's a new rotor. So we're going to put that on. Then we're going to take this that I've cleaned up the plates, and we'll bolt that in. Okay, so I went and picked up some grease. So what I'm going to do is put a little bit of grease on these slides, just a little, because you don't want it getting on the rotor. Now I've also cleaned up the sliders, so we're going to put a little bit of grease on them. I've gone ahead and I've put the squealer bar on the brake pad. That will go so that when the rotor touches it, it wants to open. And that's what's going to cause it to squeal. So in this case, it's going to be down at the back. And these little cogs here, they just fit in there, like so. And we'll take the caliper, slide that back into place. And there we go. Now everything will tighten up once you step on the pedal again. This side is done. So I'll give this a quick wipe down again with some brake clean. Make sure there's no grease on it. I'll put the wheel back on. Eventually we're going to have to get some tires here, like I said before, so that I can put the spare back in the trunk and put the proper tire back on. But for now, that's good enough on this side. I'll go do the other side, exact same thing. Both sides will be done. Now I also got some good news. I found out today that I found another car that I can get both front fenders, both rockers, and the rear quarter panel, which I'll be cutting all that off. And then I'll be bringing them home so that I can prep everything to start changing stuff out. So make sure you leave a comment down below. And if you like this, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Don't forget to share the video and definitely hit subscribe. Check out my Instagram and my Facebook. And until then, later.